Hello, my friends. For today's significator, we have the shark. This is, of course, the water element, although I kind of wonder if maybe the shark might be the fire aspect of the water element. I'm pretty sure they have to keep moving in order to breathe, so they can never actually stop moving, even when they sleep. Which sounds a bit more fiery to me. And of course, they can be very fast, and they are, I'm not sure if they're considered apex predators or not. Maybe it depends on the species. Anyway. Oh, I forgot to read it to you. I'm so sorry. Directness, exposure, revealing true nature and desire. The shark is only dangerous when we don't acknowledge it. This card indicates that something big needs to be exposed. It's lurking in the depths and creating tension. Shark energy takes over us when we are hesitant to be honest, to be totally ourselves, or to say what we really want. It may be tempting to continue pretending nothing is wrong, but when shark energy is at play, we feel its presence encircling us. When in balance, intriguing, captivating, mysterious. When out of balance, sneaky and destructive. To bring into balance, honesty. Amazing. All right. Now then, looking at your tea leaf cards, we have clouds, which indicates temporary problems. Bag, something important, such as a new job or a raise. Wealth, career, coins. Hopefully money will be coming to you, but also we have someone will gossip about all your secrets. It seems to me that your biggest concern, pretty obviously, is money, probably in particular your job. You have 2 about wealth and 2 about a job. So I would guess that the gossip about you is also likely a workplace issue. And you are definitely having some problems at the workplace right now. Hopefully these will indeed be temporary problems, but this is what your main concern is right now. Fair enough. Or this is how you will know this is your reading. All right, let's see. Moving on. Does tarot have anything different to say about what your primary concern is right now? Anything to add? Or just confirm? Definitely not feeling spiritual. It's not a focus right now. But why are you watching a tarot reading? I'm a little confused. So, why have you stopped to watch a tarot reading? Now we have the Lovers. The Lovers can indicate an important choice to be made. And yes, they can also indicate a very significant relationship, romantic type relationship. Now you have the Emperor, but in reverse. So the Emperor is about consistency, about managing yourself, self-control, consistency, self-discipline, being a good leader by setting a good example. So the Emperor does not typically have a weapon, because the Emperor, in the upright, is someone who leads by example, who inspires others, not someone who needs to use force to get people to do what they want them to do. However, this Emperor is in the reverse. So, this suggests a certain weakness, a certain amount of weakness, whether a lack of discipline, a lack of courage. I don't know why courage came to me. Courage. Interesting. Well, perhaps because the Lovers is here and a choice must be made. A big choice. If the Lovers are coming out, these are all Major Arcana cards. Your first 3 cards are all Major Arcana cards. So whatever is going on, it feels like a very big deal. And you feel, probably correctly, that it has the potential to reshape your entire life. So this is not a run-of-the-mill, oh, am I going to get this raise kind of situation. But the Emperor in reverse, there is a lack of consistency, a lack of discipline. We already have a lack of connection to the divine, to source, whatever form of the divine you believe in. And a feeling of fear. This is, the Emperor in reverse is fearful. The Emperor in reverse uses force because they're fearful. They lack self-discipline, self-control. They lack inner strength. And of course, this one is out of touch with the divine, so they have no sense of inner guidance. And then we have the 5 of Swords in reverse. This is interesting. So 5 of Swords is typically a card of self-betrayal, of self-sabotage. 5 of Swords in reverse, perhaps you're beginning to deal with these tendencies within yourself. The Lovers can indicate a need to level up, a need to grow up, perhaps. And now we have the 3 of Wands also in reverse. The 3 of Wands is the ability to see possibilities, to see potential, creative potentials especially, but possibilities. What more can life be? There's so much more. It's standing on the hilltop and looking out over a bay and seeing a ship and thinking, wondering, where can I go? What can I do? The great big world is out there. I have so many possibilities. But you have the 3 of Wands in reverse, so you're not seeing possibilities. You're feeling very much stuck. But this is in your own mind. And we have the Hanged One, in reverse, here to tell you that what you need to do is let go of your preconceived ideas, your preconceived notions. Your mind is what is holding you back. And perhaps something to do with this career issue. I think you're a little bit too focused on it, perhaps. It may be that you are being called to let go of your fear. Your ideas about who and what you can be. Anyway, a sacrifice must be made. Whether it is in attitude or lifestyle, a willingness to be open to the divine. You don't have a good connection, probably because you are blocking it. Progress, the Chariot, success. Interesting. What do we need to know about success? Or progress? 7 of Pentacles, investing in oneself. 4 of Swords, time to get moving, perhaps. But once again, we have the Fool in reverse. So refusing to make the leap. Overall, it seems to me that you are being called to consider something more than simply the physical. Your career, your job, which is obviously your primary focus. And you aren't letting anything else in. So the Four of Swords is typically a time for rest, also of integration. It's interesting that you have it in reverse. That is... So the Four of Swords in reverse is frequently read as a time to get moving, a time to get going, a time to stop resting. But maybe you've been ignoring... this spiritual aspects of life. And you've been ignoring all other aspects of life, perhaps. And it's possible you have found yourself at a point where you need to invest in yourself. Right here we have this, we have success comes from investing in yourself and perhaps not burning out. Now, either you feel foolish, or you have been called to take the Fool's Leap, and you have refused to take it. You probably refused to even consider it as a possibility. With the Three of Wands in reverse, you don't see any potentials in the Fool's Leap. And yet you are being called to make the sacrifice. To sacrifice the mindset that is keeping you trapped. At least that's what it looks like so far. Let's see what the divine has to say about it. Or the universe. However you care to characterize it. First up, we have a supportive friend. That's nice. At least I think it's nice. Supportive friend, helpful, playful, faithful companion. The friendship turns to love. Sibling, soulmate, peer, pet, vet, doctor, nurse. It's looking a little more soulmatey with this diamond ring. Partnership, statement of intent. Marriage or union. So I'm a little puzzled. This is coming out of nowhere, especially since you have all that focus on business or career. Perhaps you have a connection that needs some attention. We have the dolphins, peace, harmony, effective communication, always important. Perhaps some playtime, humor, fun, being in tune with others, collaboration, joy. From your other cards, it looks like you have not given your personal life much attention recently. And perhaps that has created a lot of difficulty. Or fragility. Even though you feel it's unconditional love, and it's more than meets the eye, a catalyst. You may be on the verge of some big changes. Well, if that Fool card turns upside right, you will be. You need more information. Definitely. We have writing, a letter. Communication, again, you have communication here, just different styles of communication, different ways of communication. Your inner guidance system. Okay, so you should be paying attention to your inner guidance system. Well, that's no surprise. We should all be paying attention to that, no matter what the question. Okay, so this is third person, third wheel. However, the thing to remember about the third wheel is it doesn't have to be a person, and it certainly doesn't have to be romantic. Given your focus on your career, it could easily be your career. Especially since you're pretty much ignoring, as far as I can tell, you're pretty much ignoring any connection you have going on here. I mean, this is the card of unconditional love here. This says it's a delicate situation. So these 4 cards are about a connection. This one says communication, playfulness. This one suggests that there's more going on than you're acknowledging right now. Perhaps you aren't willing to acknowledge the depths of your feelings or its importance to you. Or perhaps it's simply going to be more important to your life than you realize. I think you're not giving it the attention it deserves. And then down here we have, this is a really interesting row. We have your inner guidance system. Safe passage, illumination, the right direction. If you are feeling like you don't know what direction you should be going in, if you need to gain clarity, which would be understandable with the Hanged One in reverse, it's inside. It's your inner guidance. So we have this third party, third wheel, whether it's other people involved telling you how you should be living your life, or your own fixation on your career, your plans. This is interesting. It could be careful planning. It could be being a visionary. It could be establishing firm foundations, instructions, a roadmap. It could also be an understanding that thoughts become things. Now, these may all be lessons you have yet to learn, because this is the universe's perspective on what's going on in your life or what you should be paying attention to. Definitely a need to handle things carefully. The course of your life is about to be completely disrupted, if it hasn't been already. I'm not sure about this fish card. It's about resources, investments, prosperous money, income, commerce. It sounds just like the first part of it. It sounds just like your tea leaf cards. And perhaps the problem is that you see these as being in conflict. Perhaps you're trying to find a third way. Or perhaps you should be trying to find a third way. What do we need to know about this fish card? Resources. Nothing is coming out. Okay. That's interesting. Surprise. Game changer, the X factor, unexpected, dark horse advantage. Overflowing abundance. But we also have emotional release, let it go, fulfillment, tears of joy. Game Changer really seems to go along with this course disruption detour card. You need to be adaptable, perhaps. Something unexpected coming your way. Not quite sure what to make of the waterfall card because, I mean, it says overflowing abundance, which sounds wonderful, but it also says chasing after something, which is not so wonderful. It says let it go, release. Trust your inner knowing. I think that is the central message. I think you've been very externally focused instead of internally focused. Focused on the image, the impression of being in control, being the emperor. So it's like the, I've mentioned this before because the wolf keeps bringing it up. The person, the wildlife biologist who came up with, I believe it was a wildlife biologist, who came up with the idea of the alpha wolf, spent his entire life trying to debunk it because it is false. The alpha male, all of that crap, it's false. It is not natural, it is not normal, it is not healthy. So he spent, after he came up with the idea and published it and it became famous and it got into the popular imagination, this poor guy kept studying and learning and figured out that it was garbage. It was all garbage. That this alpha crap is only seen in caged wolves. Healthy, normal wolves in the wild do not engage in that kind of behavior, in that kind of ranking or hierarchy. So, it seems like an issue right now more than ever in popular society, which is why that comes to mind for me. But if you are instinctual, if you believe in freedom, resilience, stamina, confidence, guidance, trust your inner knowing, okay? Don't hand off your ideas of who and what you should be. Don't take on somebody else's stuff. It's inside you. Who and what you should be is inside you. That doesn't mean you can't learn from external sources. You absolutely can and should learn from external sources. But in terms of knowing who you are and trusting yourself, you have to go within. You have to know yourself. And then you can learn from others. Take the things that are useful and beneficial to you, things that you need to learn. In particular, things that you need to learn about yourself. For example, there's all this stuff out there now about attachment theory. Everybody talks about avoidance, right? So attachment theory is helpful for knowing yourself better, understanding yourself better. There's a lot of talk about neurodivergence these days, about, there's all kinds of diagnoses that are now considered neurodivergent. And if you have one of these diagnoses, then it may help you to learn about neurodivergence because it will help you to learn about yourself, to understand yourself. It will help you to understand how you relate to others as well as how you relate to the world, how you function. So learning about other things is a very important part of learning about yourself. And the better you know yourself, the happier and healthier you will be. And the more able you will be to, I'd really like to see the Three of Wands turned upright, so that you can see possibilities for yourself, potentials for yourself, and you can act on them. All of these resources are available to you if you choose to be open to them, to see them, to act on them. All right. I'm feeling archetypal today, so let's see what that has to say for us. Okay, the Mystic. Oh my. Maybe you're being called to the path of the Mystic. That would be a big change considering your really heavy focus on career. Unless your career is being a mystic, which I don't think so. Not yet. We also have the Desert, which is typically very important to mystics. Okay. So we have 21, Mystic, 37, the Desert, and 58, the Nectar. I think that's a peony. I love peonies. They're very beautiful. And I love the way they smell. Anyway, the Mystic. The seeker, the light worker, the dreamer. The mystic is often misunderstood in our culture, depicted as a wandering or light-hearted daydreamer. Yet like Shiva, the true mystic plays a critical role in society, remaining fearlessly dedicated to the path of transformation. In order to save the earth from darkness, Shiva swallows the poison of the world and holds it in his throat, slowly transmuting the liquid into nectar. This is the work of the mystic. They do not fear darkness, but rather sit in the presence of it, harness the potential and latent energy behind it, and embed it with light. They are patient and prudent change makers, seeking growth above all else. Unanswerable questions are the mystic's lifeblood. The mystic revels in mystery, in the great riddle of life, dancing with the forces of light and dark upon its wings. When light, remover of darkness, visionary, ageless. When dark, expects results, seeks attention and recognition. That sounds like the Emperor in reverse. So perhaps you have been denying your inner mystic. That's not going to work in the long run. Like any light worker, the mystic must build a relationship with fire. This begins by awakening the inner flame, or tapas, within. It may seem that the mystic is inward-facing, yet its light beams back to the world with the strength of 1,000 stars. All right, now we'll go to 37, which is right after 36, the forest. All right, the desert, the drought, the wasteland, the badlands. The desert leaves us disoriented, desperate for direction, grasping for meaning, longing for solid ground. For endless miles, we are confronted with a lack of clarity and existential dread. We are thirsty, hungry, pleading with life to get back to normal, to become animated by the simple pleasantries of day-to-day life. The desert offers no such comfort, and all must pass through it. If you can embrace the discomfort of the desert, knowing you will someday reach water again, you can tap into the potent energy of this landscape. Its lights are blindingly bright and its darks terrifyingly deep, which makes for unbridled creativity and clairvoyant visions. Truths reside in the desert that otherwise remain hidden. The crows, the shadows, and the coyotes' call surround you. Let the winds and sands work their deep magic, weary traveler. Well, you may be really getting worn down right now. When light, surreal, strange, unexpected visions, silence. When dark, drying, deadening, disorienting, isolating. The desert is alive and pulsing with energy despite its desolate appearance. Turn toward it rather than away from it. I think you've been turning away from it. When in the throes of the desert, contemplate the following. You are not alone. You have more supplies with you than you think. Water is very near. Perhaps that's why the fish card came out for you. All right, finally, 58. Oh, that's 6. There we go. The nectar, the medicine, the elixir, the garden. In Hindu mythology, there is a miraculous substance known as amrit, or nectar, that contains infinite healing power. This golden nectar or sacred elixir is the drink of immortality, and like its sister substance, soma, is known to activate subtle intelligent forces that ease the mind, body, and spirit. Though esoteric, these images lead us to the central energy of this archetype, the sweet, potent, heavenly essence that lubricates our spirit back to life. Well, after the desert, you'd need it, wouldn't you? The nectar card calls us to identify and relish in places, practices, people, and activities that regenerate and heal. Medicine is needed, and it comes in subtle forms that you may be overlooking. Seek the most sensuous, fragrant flower in the garden that you have forgotten. Don't underestimate this remedy. It is said when someone has activated this substance within, it is reflected in their shimmering eyes. When light, glowing, relaxed, subtle illumination. When dark, fixation on fixing, aggressive approach to healing. The nectar, the mystic, and the Aletheia cards are linked. It is the mystic who, like Krishna, turns poison into nectar, and it is truth that can often serve as a potent elixir for healing. And the desert is a great place to discover the truth. Sense the nectar within you, dripping from the crown of the head and soothing the brain. Let it drip down the spine like sweet honey. So, I think you have been overworking or ignoring the things that you need to give attention to. The things that are non-material. These themes keep coming up over and over in your reading. The mystic side of yourself is calling you. It's calling you to discover your truth. You have the shark as well. You're ignoring the things that really need attention. The things that will really heal you and add to your life. So, I think that you will get there. After all, you've stopped to watch a tarot reading. I am wishing you all the best. Till next time.